Hi guys, FrostFangs here, back again, of course, with another Paladins video, and you're playing some Octavia today. It's been over a year since the last video. She's been buffed quite a bit since then. She's quite strong, I would say, at the moment, but still very underplayed. By the way, there was meant to be a buck video before this one. I actually recorded the video. I spent an hour doing it, and I was quite happy with how it turned out. I finished the recording, or so I thought, because I never recorded the gameplay, just my face and the audio for my mic, so yeah, that's not going to get posted, but just to summarize that, because I'm not going to make another video on it again and drive myself insane, back good at the moment. Better than before. 6 ammo is nice. Also, just wanted to say real quick, thank you to those of you guys that have been using code FrostFangs in the Epic Store, even for non-Paladins stuff. A bunch of you guys have been using it, even though I don't mention it that often, and it's helped me out, and I really do, yeah, appreciate it. We're going to be playing her with a standard build, and she's the focus of the video. Movement speed, extra health, scope in, time, doesn't really matter too much what you go for here. They all play very, very similar. Same with the talents, to be honest, which is actually the reason she's such a low level for me. 22. The only person who I think is lower is a Nyx, who just came out, and then Yag by like a tiny bit, but we'll grab her here. B+ or an A, somewhere around there, I think is where I put her on my tier list as well, like when I did that I think a year ago or something. But she fits in a very similar slot to Vivian and Victor, but she's a little bit less of a selfish character, whereas Victor, especially, and Vivian both do really well on their own, whereas Octavia is obviously more geared towards being a team leader and a team player, less of a selfish character. You even have a freaking unique passive here that you pick at the start of a game that no other character has to buff out your team. In this one, we're definitely going to go for the cooldowns, but all 4 of these, though, I would say are fine. But you actually have like a whole nother layer that other characters don't have with that, and somehow she still feels more samey than most other characters. We're going to go for asymmetric warfare as well, and then the standard setup, and yeah, just try and show off Octavia, because like I said, she does do really well. She just doesn't have that much variety. We got Mother's Grace, Unyielding, Spinning Ice, Luminary, Omnipresence, Exterminate, Sure Force, Eminence, and Sandtrap. A lot of CC on their side, but I'd say if you mix her in with other characters, like you play Vivian, then you mix in a Victor, like if you play a lot and you kind of rotate through characters, having Octavia on that rotation is not a bad idea. She does feel pretty squishy, doesn't have like a crazy massive thing that she's better at than a lot of other characters, but she's a good overall pick. It's kind of what I would say. Seems like we've always zoned them off. I know Charlene is back here somewhere. Do we F up in the air and get rid of him here like this? See if we can make this work. I'm going to drop, throw the Q down, which is about alive. That was terrible. You can obviously hover in the air with your F, which is technically a unique thing to Octavia, but it doesn't feel like anything crazy. You're kind of just hovering in the air and making yourself a little bit easier to hit, and maybe giving yourself a unique position every now and again, but it doesn't really make you feel like you're doing a power play. There goes the end, but I am going for like a full speed thing here to try and have some fun and try and, you know, mess around a bit here with Octavia, get some good damage on people. She, like I said, does actually feel pretty impactful in a match. She makes a difference, it's just you playing her. She feels like a less selfish version of a lot of other characters. Definitely depends on the mode a bit. I feel like she's going to make more of a difference for the team in like a siege and in like an onslaught, and especially in like a TDM or something, if you get what I mean by that. It's kind of hard to explain because she just feels very geared towards like team play, but Paladins overall, you know, character-wise, that doesn't often work out very well. Don't feel like I'm doing a great job explaining what I mean, but I think if you get where I'm coming from and you play this game a lot and you played with or against Octavia enough, you should get what I'm talking about. We nearly got rid of the Fury there. We'll go for the ult, just throw that there so we can kind of push them off, spam, but maybe against the Leanna bit. That actually kind of screwed me over, and I was also all over the place. Charlene is still behind somewhere. Furia ulted, will F up, get some shots on the Nyx. My tracking today, definitely not the best. Do try and mix in headshots every now and again to get as much damage as possible, but for some reason that means I just miss more shots than I should. But anyway, in we go. We'll drop the Q down here early, try and sort of zone them off. I feel like my accuracy just in that right click for some reason is terrible at the moment. They're also playing specifically kind of weird angles. Charlene's going behind. I think I'm just dead. I don't think I can realistically duel a Charlene, even if I have my Q up, right? If he just lands his shots, I'm dead way faster than I can kill him. He's just waiting here. We'll throw the Q down, get some shots on him, just spam because I don't know where he's gone. He's just there. Okay, I don't feel like I can really duel him. The thing is, I can also just run. Drop the Q here, just gonna hide and play angles, get some shots. I'm dead, especially if there's a Leanne there. We'll F maybe. Nah, I'm just gone. She's a very mid-range character. If someone pushes up on you, even like a Charlene, who is also kind of a mid-range character, you're gonna lose that fight most of the time unless you're able to sort of push them and retreat a bit. This might all just be me, so I'd love to hear from you guys that play a lot of Octavia. I don't think there's that many of you out there, but those of you guys that do main her, let me know how you feel about sort of where she is, like as a character, if that makes sense, like a meta-wise. Not like if she's strong or weak, but sort of how you end up having to play Octavia. It'd be interesting to hear why you main Octavia specifically over other characters. There are these stats for you. Feel like I did pretty bad there, to be honest. Shouts to the Charlene. He was definitely putting in the most work he possibly could there, same with the Leanne, but yeah, Vatu and Nyx were just AFKing, I think, after the 2-0 or somewhere around there, which is a bit of a shame because that was actually a solid game that we could have lost, but even though we didn't do that much, we ended up winning because kind of ended up being a 3v5. I'm honestly trying to make this above a neutral video about Octavia, but I'm honestly kind of struggling. She does really well in the pre-made scenarios. If you're doing like a siege and you're playing like a team, you're sort of supporting your Octavia and you're buffing your team out, she can make a big difference. She definitely isn't a weak character like I said, but most of the time in Paladins, I feel like I'm just better off grabbing somebody else and trying to do something different. Again, I don't really see her that often, so I don't have that much to really judge it off of. That's just sort of my opinion on it, and what I think generally is the reason people don't really grab her. But anyway, on to game 2, Primal Court. Gonna go for the ultimate buff here for sure. The same thing, asymmetric warfare, although maybe we should mix in display of force. Let's do that instead. And the standard setup, we've got the Earthgust, Gordon, Dying, Abyssal, Overcharged. Definitely not saying they should buff Octavia or change Octavia. We got rid of the Vatu there because she, like I said, is in a fine spot. She just is never really going to be picked that often if she stays in the same sort of niche spot that she is in. She's pretty unique, but also at the same time not, if that makes sense. I really just can't explain what I mean properly today, but there goes the Vatu. Medium long range, where you've got a team pushing up and you're not getting flanked, is the ideal spot for her to be in. Went for the ult, there goes the Vatu. Let's try and keep it going and actually focus on the gameplay a bit. We've got a double there. Her ultimate's kind of satisfying. I do like the damage output she has as well. Again, like a lot of parts about her kit are sort of unique and feel pretty good to play. It's just the scenario where she does the best is kind of weird. Like, she doesn't really have any group damage either. You're just like a single shot character, and in Paladins that's a pretty big deal if you're playing like an onslaught or something, only being able to hit one person at a time with like 450 a shot. It makes a pretty big difference if you're not a flank and you're trying to do like mass damage output for your team. Don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Try to get rid of the emoji, just trying to run away. I feel like I'm doing okay on damage. I just never really have a scenario with Octavia. This is specifically what I mean, where I'm like carrying and doing crazy work. I'm always just kind of buffing what everybody else is sort of doing and kind of doing like a little stuff by myself. If that makes sense. Couldn't kill him. Like, she feels effective. We got rid of the emoji there. You're definitely not doing nothing. It's just what you're doing aside from buffing the team doesn't feel that impactful unless you're like insane and putting in massive amounts of work compared to what you'd have to do with a different character. Anyway, get rid of the emoji here. It's kind of hard to actually land those right clicks when you're super up close. That's a Vatu ult. We'll drop down here, get some shots on him. He is not out. Shots on the Zin. That's a Genos ult. Just about dodged that in time. Shouts Earth. She's putting in work with the heals. My god, my accuracy is also just really scuffed with her for some reason. Let's see if we can do summon. If I can get a good angle with her, maybe we can do summon. There we go. He's gone. Shots on the Pip as well. If you land like your entire shot, you don't miss a single one. You can kind of burst people. That's sort of what I mean though, with her being so much more high effort compared to like every other damage to deal like sort of semi-decent output. We got a couple good hits there with the ult. The ult does shred if you go for the target and people get stuck in it. You can easily hit them with like 2 and just burst somebody out of nowhere. Sometimes the right click does bug a bit. I'm having a hard time landing shots when it's just this much a mess going on. We'll hip fire him down. Hip fire did get buffed a bit I think since the last time, so that feels fine, although for some reason the thing to actually get headshots with Octavia feels more difficult than with other characters. That might just be a feeling thing, I might just be making that up entirely, but it definitely feels like with Octavia when I'm in that right click I have a harder time getting headshots than I do with like somebody else who's just like spraying shots. I mean, it's just inaccurate, I don't know. General scan for the ult, we can dodge that though, we do have the speed. There's hits on the Pip, trying to finish him off. We'll drop a Q down. Shouts Earth for the heals. I feel like I really should have died so many times in this one. Gonna jump the Pip. No, that didn't work. I'm dead. Can we finish him off? Oh my god, I actually got it. I don't feel like I deserve that kill. Moji's just going to push me here. We'll jump over and maybe do something stupid. Grab some Haven, I guess. I don't really know what else to go for. Next, getting rid of the Generals there. She is actually not pushed up at all. That's like our spawn. For some reason, I thought we were flipped for a second there. We'll drop the Q, get some shots. Vatu is out. Nice. Again, if you land headshots with her, she shreds. We'll pop the ult that sort of angle. Maybe catch somebody with it. No, I thought they were all going to retreat on that right side for some reason. That didn't get anything. Q down, she's going to push. She is. Spam the shots. Okay, there goes the General Slash. That 20 bit of damage on him. We'll drop the Q down here for the team. Do something. Shots on the Pip. Shots on the Zin. Not a Zin, a Vatu. We'll F up here. Hello, Moji. Spray shots. There we go. That felt really weird, but it worked. If you're playing angles that are like a little bit more difficult to get hit back on, if that makes sense. She feels like she can kind of shred. I think we've got a couple taps there with the ult. Drop some spam on the Moji. More spam on the Zin. I think I'm just delaying my death. I'm getting a lot of heals, but yeah, it's getting pushed a little bit too much. Finish off Haven. We've done fine. I've helped out the team. I've output a decent amount, and that is sort of the average Octavia experience. Definitely want to hear from you guys in this one, even if you don't main Octavia, what your experience is with her, just because I don't have that much data, and I would like to hear what the general opinion is on Octavia, if it's different from what I already kind of have in my head. Emoji ulted me there. Seems like we're stuck at 395 here. Been like a minute, I think. There's shots on the Pip. He's going for the ult. Can I finish him off? No shots on just anybody. I guess I'm just making my damage stat look better at this point. Can we get rid of the... yeah, Vatu. There we go. Victory. I had the ult there right at the end. feel like we did fine there. That was okay. That was pretty standard Octavia for me. Alright, well, looking at the stats there, I guess I did way better than I originally thought. 19,608k. I didn't think I output anywhere near that number, but I think the ultimate helped us out there quite a bit, and I was consistently sort of just spamming left click or right click. We buffed the team quite a bit, I would say, but honestly I think that's a pretty good representation of why people don't grab Octavia. Even if you do pretty damn good in that scenario, it doesn't feel like you're making that much of an impact. We were getting way more ults off. I could tell that the Earth was ulting a crazy amount there. The 7 had a bit of a hard time, but Term and Nyx were both playing the point, doing their job. We also didn't get pushed very much there, which I think would have made a really big difference, but I like her sort of design. I like the sort of thing that Octavia is, the idea, the concept, but it just feels like the way she is at the moment is weird. I don't know what they could even do to change her to make her a much more popular character because of what she's trying to be just inherently. That felt like a terrible summary, but honestly I think that's the best I'm going to get. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Of course, let me know, like I said, your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you guys all really, really soon. And as always, stay frosty.